Hey yo, what's good with y'all? It's your boy King Mamba back with another banger. Today I'm gonna be talking about my way too early All-Stars for this year. And I mean way too early All-Stars. This is if All-Star break was literally right now. Not what I think is gonna be All-Stars if it ended right this second. So yeah, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, you like NBA videos, you like the NBA in general, subscribe because what we do right here. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so before I give you guys my first actual guy, I'm gonna run through how I'm gonna do this. I'm going to give my captain of the East and the West. I'm going to give you the starters. I'm going to give you the bench, the reserves, and then I'll list the snubs. So yeah, let's get into it. So for the East, my captain is Kevin Durant. Just to keep it short and sweet, this man's a beast. I actually don't think this dude's having the best season in this conference. I feel like that's Embiid's title. I feel like Embiid's winning the MVP race right now. But Kevin Durant, if you're picking a captain, who's better off against, LeBron? So yeah, he's my forward. He's killing it this year. Doing great on the new team. Players like Kyrie going out. He getting new players like Harden. He's staying consistent. He's putting up great numbers. Yeah. After him, we got the two guard spots. And these are starting guard spots. I'm giving Jaylen Brown and Bradley Beal those spots on my list. Now listen before anyone gets mad. Harden and Trae Young both did not make any part of this list. And you might be wondering why. Harden, he's only played like 6-7 games, right? All those games in Houston, dude averaged 17 points. You're not making an all-star with that. He's been great in Brooklyn so far, putting up good numbers. He's going to pick up his numbers. He's going to be good for all-star break. He's going to be an all-star this year. But that's not what we talk about. We talk about right now. So Harden, not on my list. Trae Young, that dude started off the season hot. First 3 games, dude was looking like an MVP. But since then, he been doo-doo. He been awful. And for how much he's underperforming and how much the team's underperforming in general, he's not making my list. Anyways, if you guys have watched any Celtics basketball, you know this man Jaylen Brown is going ballistic. He's taken a huge leap just from last year when he was a snub, it feels like. And he's taken over when Tatum has been out for the last 2 games. Same thing for Beal. Beal's been a beast. He's leading the league in scoring with 35 points per game, which is absolutely ridiculous. The scoring this man's doing is unbelievable. The team around him is awful, and that's why they're not playing well. But the dude's an all-star. Should have been one last year, and he's a starter this year. For the rest of the starters, baseline simple. Giannis, KD, Embiid. I feel like I don't need to explain these. Giannis is who he's always been. KD's back, completely healthy. He's my captain. I already explained him. And Embiid is having an MVP season as we speak. This team is awful without him. His presence is heavily felt, and he's carrying them completely. Alright, for the bench, this is going to be interesting. I want to see your guys' opinions because I feel like this is debatable. But for my guard spots, I got Malcolm Brogdon and Zach LaVine. Both these guys were incredible last year and potential snubs, I guess. And this year they each took a big step up. I think Brogdon's averaging like 24, 25 points. He's doing everything for his team. Him and Sabonis both going off. They're leading their team. I think they're like half game off of the number 1 spot. And for that, he's an all-star. I got 2 all-stars for the Pacers. And LaVine, dude's averaging like 28 a game. He's the only reason why they're competing in any games. And yeah, this man's having his all-star season. For my forwards, I got Jason Tatum and Sabonis. It feels like it's a pretty simple explanation. Tatum, he's played 10 out of 12 games this year, and he's been incredible in those games. Since then, they've had a COVID breakdown, but dude's been a beast. He deserves an all-star spot. I don't feel like he's been as good as Jaylen Brown this year because Brown just took a huge leap, but he's still an all-star. Sabonis, he's doing more for the Pacers than Brogdon is, but this team is doing so good, I feel like they deserve 2. Sabonis is just such a fun player to watch because he's so dominant in a weird way that we haven't seen in the NBA in a while, but he's definitely an all-star. And then for my bench center spot, I got Nikola Vucevic. This man is having a completely underrated season. Markel's been hurt, their team's down bad, and this man's still cooking. Dude's putting up 23 and 11 and is clearly one of the most underrated players in the league. Alright, and then finally for the 2 reserve spots, we got Chris Middleton, Andre Drummond. I feel like this is a pretty simple explanation. Chris Middleton's been unbelievable this year. He's been closing out games for them. He's looking like he's going to put up a 50, 40, 90 season on more points per game than last year. He was an all-star last year. He's got to be one this year. The reason he's in the reserves is that just there's a lot of talent at the forward position. So that's why he's not in the technical bench forward. But dude's putting up crazy stats. Dude's a beast. He's an all-star. For Drummond, me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Drummond. The dude's putting up good stats. He's averaging I think he's putting up 19 and 16. He's leading the league in rebounding. He's doing what he does and what we expect from him. Especially, I'm a Cavs fan, so I follow this team. but we've had like 7 or 8 players out, it feels like every game, and he's been the one consistent healthy guy, and we would not be where we are without him. We're 6-7, and only for 6 of those games we had Sexton. So yeah, even though I like Jared Allen for the future, Drummond's having a good year. He's an all-star. All-star numbers, yeah. So for the snubs in the East, I already talked about James Harden and Trae Young. Harden hasn't been incredible this year, hasn't played a ton of games. He's not on the list. Trae Young, like I said, he's been putting up bad numbers. He's been very underwhelming. I didn't mention, but Kyrie isn't on my list just because he hasn't played enough games. You need to play like at least half your games to be considered. But my other snubs are Jeremy Grant, Gordon Hayward, Bam Adebayo, Pascal Siakam, Julius Randle, and Colin Sexton, to name a few. That was in no distinct order, but all these guys are putting up great numbers and are just having a great impact on their team overall. Alright, now we got the Western Conference, which I feel like is it's a lot less interesting, I guess. I feel like there isn't as much of a variety as players you can choose. So yeah, let's get into it. Captain, obviously LeBron. He's coasting this year and he's still playing great. I don't believe dude is in the MVP conversation because he's coasting, but he's obviously a captain. He's obviously a starting all-star. There's not much to say about this man. It's LeBron James. Alright, for the starting guard spots, I got Steph Curry and Luka Doncic. Curry's putting on an MVP run. I'd say he's about 3 behind KD and Embiid. He's leading this Warriors team, which hasn't looked that great, to a potential playoff spot, and he's proving to people that Steph Curry is in fact a leader. For Luka, it's just Luka Doncic. He's doing what we expected from him. He was an all-star last year. He's an all-star again. Alright, for the forward spots, I got LeBron and PG. PG is one of the most hated and underrated players in basketball, I feel like, right now. Dude's borderline 4-5 in MVP, and definitely putting up a bounce-back season from last year. And then finally at center, I got Jokic. He's probably the 5th other guy that I haven't talked about that's in that MVP conversation. His team hasn't been that successful, but he's putting up numbers. He's been a beast, and that's deserving of the starting center spot. Alright, the bench, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. At the guards, I got Dame and D-Mitch. Dame hasn't been completely crazy this year, but he's been the Dame we all know and love. His impact's felt by his team. And yeah, for D-Mitch, dude's putting up 23 on 5, and he's leading the most underrated team in the league, in my opinion, the Utah Jazz. I don't know why this team always looks so good in the regular season, but they just do. And Donovan Mitchell's leading them, and for that he deserves an all-star spot. For the forwards in the West, I got Brandon Ingram and Kawhi Leonard, both easy picks. We all know Kawhi. He's been great for the last couple years, and nothing's slowing him down this year. For the other spot, I got Brandon Ingram. He was a very close snub last year, but he actually made the All-Star team, and I feel like he's improved upon that season already. And then finally for the backup center spot, I got Anthony Davis. I think Davis has been a little bit disappointing this year, but Anthony Davis, disappointing, is still the second best center in the West. Yes, I'm labeling him as center, even though he technically doesn't play center. Finally, to finish this off, we got the reserves in DeMar DeRozan and CJ McCollum. DeMar DeRozan's leading the Spurs team that many people thought was going to be a bottom 3 seed in the West, including me, to right now they're in the playoff picture. They're 8-6, I believe, and DeRozan has quickly become one of the most, I guess not overrated, but he was a little bit overrated in Toronto, and now he's one of the most underrated players in the league. And then for CJ McCollum, dude's been incredible this year. I know he just got hurt, but he's debatably been better than Dame, if you really want to say that, this year. And because he's hurt, if you want me to give a sub-in pick, it'd either be Shea or D-Book, but CJ McCollum has earned the spot, so I'm just going to give it to him. And then the snubs for this, there's not as many, but it's Shea, D-Book, who are the main 2 snubs. I feel like D-Book, he's taking a step down from last year, but when you have a good player like Chris Paul come to your team, you kind of have to. Shea's taking a step up from next year. He looks promising. I just don't know if it's enough to be an all-star. And then the other couple are Ja, Zion, and De'Aaron Fox. All playing really well this year. Ja's been hurt for a while. I feel like if he was healthy the whole season, he would probably be on this list. And then Zion and Fox have been great. They're just not good enough yet. So yeah, these are my 2 early all-stars for this year. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. Without further ado, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.